Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the TikTok channel. My name is Wesley. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the big box office surprises of this summer, and that movie is It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us is a romantic drama that is directed by Justin Baldoni, and it stars Blake Lively. It also stars the director Baldoni as well. And it's based off of the novel by the same name that was written by Colleen Hoover back in 2016. And despite just a $25 million budget, the movie has grossed over $300 million worldwide, an incredible profit for a movie that was seemingly under the radar, but the star power of Blake Lively alongside the theatrical run of Deadpool and Wolverine starring her husband, Ryan Reynolds, perhaps helped boost this movie in the public eye. Now, I had never really seen Blake Lively's shows that she was in before, so this was pretty much the first time I've actually seen her acting in a big role on the big screen. So I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't even sure how she sounded. I didn't really know much about her, but when she got on screen, I think that she delivers one of the better, more memorable performances by an actress in a leading role so far this year. And her performance, I think, is really entwined with her character's story, which I really appreciated. I think that's a big strength of this movie. Just a quick warning, this film does contain a lot of instances of domestic abuse, and that is something that runs in Blake Lively's character's family. And so how that intertwines with her marriage and her childhood growing up, I think she gives a really emotionally driven performance. I think she is a very good conversationalist on screen. I think she does a good job delivering lines and make it seem like this is just a believable conversation. A lot of this movie felt real, and I think that was because of her strong performance. And I also think it was well written. The screenplay is from Christy Hall, and I think she does a great job here. She does a great job of taking something that's very sensitive to a lot of people, right? Domestic abuse is not something that people really laugh at, you know? And I think she does a good job of making it seem like we can make an entertaining romantic movie, but also be able to keep these heavy themes at the forefront. And yeah, I haven't really seen a movie like this before, and I think it was really impactful in that way. Additionally, Baldoni as the primary supporting character here, I think does a great job of playing a complicated character. He's definitely not a good guy, but you can see elements of why maybe people would fall in love with somebody like that, and where somebody like that can go wrong, whether it's in their past, in their childhood, something to do with their upbringing can really affect the course of their whole life. And I think that he does a great job directing himself, I guess, in this movie. I also want to shout out Jenny Slate. She is the best friend and sister-in-law of Blake Lively's character. And there's one scene in particular here where it's probably the turning point of the movie, actually. And she delivers a really great, heartfelt performance and real honest conversation with her friend that I'm still thinking about. There's really not a whole lot to complain about in this movie. I will say I think the plot does have a little bit of pacing issues. I feel like the movie can linger and wander. I think it does a lot of work setting up the relationship between Blake Lively and her husband's character in this movie. And then when it all goes wrong, I think that there is a pretty good impact that a good, I guess, payoff of what that setup does. But I do feel like the movie could be a little shorter. A lot of that setup did drag on, and there is another storyline that there's another character in the movie that's Blake Lively's teenage boyfriend, and there's a love triangle mixed in there, and it just goes back and forth between the stories, and that was just a little bit distracting. It felt like that the two parts were at conflict with each other at times, but ultimately I can see why they put it in there. I don't think it was perfect in how it handled all of the different storylines, or I guess the two different storylines, I suppose. But that's just a nitpick. It's nothing major. And as far as direction goes, this doesn't need to be any sort of masterpiece visually. I'm not expecting that. I will say I don't really think the director does like a whole lot like interesting that at least I noticed watching the movie one time in terms of like visually any like unique shots to help bring out the best in these actors. It all seemed pretty standard, pretty formulaic, which is fine. Like I don't think most people are gonna critique that, but if you got to come up with something, I'm grasping at some straws here. But I don't think it's like a perfect movie by any means, but I do think that what this movie can do is something much more important, and that is to go get help. If you watch this movie, I hope it inspires you to take a stand or to take an action step in the right direction, and that can be a complicated thing to do. And it's not really my place to tell you exactly how to do that. I am far from an expert, but I hope that this movie genuinely does and convince and influence people to take positive steps of change in their lives. So, yeah. With all that being said, I'm going to give It Ends With Us a solid 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't like the most emotionally impactful movie to me personally, but I do think it can be tremendously impactful to others. And I think that the performances and the writing is strong enough for most people to probably really enjoy this movie. And for certain people, I really hope it impacts you to make positive change in your life. Thanks for watching my channel. I do a lot of movie reviews, so follow me if you want to see them every week or every couple weeks. And yeah, thanks for watching.